Welcome to the Nobody Tells You This podcast, where we will be debunking popular health myths, fads, so that you can get fact from fiction and make informed health choices. Join us every month for new episodes.
Yes, it worked. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Veerpal, the menopause clinician, and along with Ravneet Nutrition. And today we're going to really dig down on a few topics which you have asked the questions. So we're going to answer those today.
And not only did we decide to answer them, this week we have announced, Veerpal, that we've done something even more than talking about it. What are we doing?
We are doing a free live masterclass, which was in a demand, which have been asked for. So 11th of July, 8 o'clock, free masterclass on menopause, not only on one piece of the puzzle, is all the problems and what is actually the solution, the medical and the non-medical. What is the right approach and how you should really rise through the menopause.
And we're going to be covering both, this is so important to emphasize the options clinically, the options holistically, and we're both going to bring the experience from working with thousands of women, not just in the NHS, but also in our private practices.
Yeah.
So it's going to be packed full of value. Please do join. It's part of our community initiative that Veerpal and I both do what we call Seva, which is that we do a lot of free work in the community. And Veerpal, you've been really active this year. Tell us a little bit about all the menopause work that you've done in just this 2024 alone.
Actually, I was writing it down, my 6 months journey for this year, let alone the last year. Consistently, I have, yes.
We did not discuss this.
I have delivered free 15 workshops, free to the community, just workshops on its own, my time. We started in January, monthly workshop as well in few gurdwaras, along with different organizations as well. I did a lot of, that's my paid corporate workshops where the employers have asked me to really deliver the workshops to their employees, the women and the colleagues as well, and the males as well. Ministry of Defense, Barclays Bank, and quite a few as well. The school moms in different schools as well, and the teachers as well I have delivered. Obviously, my private clients as well, which I'm doing, and NHS patients and clients. I spoke at Olympia to deliver lecture to other healthcare professionals, and I have delivered lectures to other healthcare professionals in GP surgeries. Because the problem, I had 4 voice notes only today to ask for help. They went to their GP and they were not being listened for menopause. They've been saying, you're 49, justify why you need GP support for menopause.
I had somebody today as well. She had a picture.
Yeah.
She said, I need to show you because this is really interesting. She said, my date of birth on the system is not right. I'm actually 10 years younger than my age. And Veerpal, we see this, don't we?
Yeah.
With people of color, with immigrant community, they have different date of birth for so many different reasons. So she said to me, this is what my friend takes. And I thought, and she showed me the picture and it said HRT.
Yes.
And I said, you've got to book with your GP.
Yeah.
But as a health coach, I am going to follow up with you to see what happens with your GP journey.
Yeah.
Because you tell them, why would I need to do that?
And with your age, your genetics, your metabolism, everything is changing. And that's why I deliver lecture to other healthcare professionals now, just to hold the consultation. The consultation is so, so important. And then something else comes. Because if you can make the relationship in a consultation, that's what I do. And that's what I help my clients with. And also, bigger projects are coming, which we are so excited to announce from September, not only for a business plan, what we're doing for the community and what we're doing really different organizations we are working on different projects to really create the platform for the community as well at the same time. And that is really amazing. I'm working on actually a very good project, which I can't announce what it is, with a couple of hospitals to really create a standard formulary for menopause, which everyone can really help their patients and clients and everything as well.
Because we know, and we know when we're seeing it that, I'm sending that patient to the doctor to start her menopause journey. I'm, as a health coach, following up because of the work we're doing to make sure, what did the GP say? Do you feel heard? And every GP practice has a different way. So what Veerpal's doing here is they're trying to create a universal method, pathway for GPs to have that consultation with women.
Yeah, and that is so, it's not like GPs don't have a knowledge. Everyone has their unique expertise and they don't know how to hold that consultation for that particular problem. It doesn't undermine any professional knowledge of any healthcare professional. It's just, so for example, some clinical things throw me out because that's not my competency and I have to ask for help. But as a clinician, I still know it's my responsibility for the patient and I can at least refer them to someone who's expert if I can't help them.
Yeah, it's funny. I was having that conversation today with a social prescriber in my practice about what we are and are not regulated to do. But one thing we can do as compassionate humans is signpost, and you're really going to help that. I have to mention, when I did a post, I did stories last week, I did some polls. And again, we are using your feedback to create services, to create podcast episodes, to support you. We had the question, would you go to the GP when you are experiencing hormonal fluctuations? And I think it was 40% that said yes, 60% said no. And it might have been more. When I put this episode up, I will put the screenshot of the percentages. That is why we are creating this space, because Veerpal has this expertise, she has this knowledge, she's developing it even more in terms of the specialism, to give people information they're not getting from the medical space.
And one thing I would say, it really confused the patients and the women is, you don't need to have a Bible of menopause. Everybody, woman is different. Your symptoms going to be different. Your genetics, metabolism, your problem going to be different. And you don't need so much of a Bible of menopause. Analyze your body. And then you ask for a help. You may not need a HRT symptoms, but you may need gynecological help. You may need a nutritionist help. You may maybe need some healing, trauma, or mental health support. The support you need is according to your body, and you don't need to go through the Bible of menopause. And that's why you need a right person to write you in a right pathway according to your symptoms. And then you make a decision where you're going for help. Either it's NHS, paid, or yourself, you're doing the help yourself as well.
Yeah, and I love in the Punjabi episode, the way you described it, and in conversations we've had, it's about looking at the puzzle.
Yes, and every piece of the puzzle is very, very important.
Unique by individual and very important. So today we're going to follow the theme that we've already covered in the Punjabi episode to make sure that people that can't understand Punjabi can understand in English, that we're going to just touch on. I'll discuss what we believe to be healthy mental health, and then Veerpal will go into actually in menopause specifically what can present as challenging mental health, and fill in the blanks if I miss something of healthy mental health. So I learned this because you did this in Punjabi. So basically doing what Veerpal said in English and taking all the credit. What people really pointed out is that healthy mental health looks like being able to deal with challenges that are incoming in life, because no life is without challenges. And for the most part, you're able to problem solve and handle that. But actually, good mental health isn't perfection, toxic positivity. It actually involves having fluctuations in mental health. Did I do good? Did I summarize that?
You done well. You done well. And the analogy we did was a very simple example of a child, isn't it? The child had emotional well-being, the mental health as well. The 1 minute they're crying and 1 minute they're happy, it doesn't mean overall the child. But some children can be very upsetting all the time, and they can't regulate. And the same as we age, our mental health with absorption of all the information, it get affected. It's not something we should be ashamed of.
And that doesn't mean because you struggled with one challenge that now I need to go on medication. But it also doesn't mean if you've got multiple life challenges, and I've seen this. Somebody came to me and he said, my whole life I've had, keep calm, carry on attitude. He was an Englishman, and he one day just couldn't get out of bed. They'd started probation on his mum's, not probation, you know what, probate process on his mum's property after she passed.
Yeah.
And a series of events in his life led to
Trauma.
this, I can't get out. Yes. Now, does that mean that, he has got bad mental health? No, it means that the series of these challenges came in quick succession, and he took the opportunity to get some medical support.
And that's very, very, very important.
Different. Yeah.
And when we talk in that time, and you gave really good example, like some days you're going to really struggle, and your sort of stamina and your motivation won't work. And if from 7 days you're struggling for 5 days, that's when you need the medication to go to the basic line, and then you can really motivation yourself, the meditation, the yoga, or any other things. But if you don't have, like, get out of the bed, you don't need that, have that kick and sport, there is no way you can use other ailments. And it's very important for our brain to go a little bit on the baseline to have that skill.
And that's the point. So I'm usually great with challenges. At the moment, I'm struggling. And so we've covered this in Is Your Health in Your Own Hands? Veetbal and I talk a lot about mental health. We are mental health advocates. We are health educators. It's a very close to my heart subject. I've done podcasts with my mum about our perinatal depression journeys. We recorded a podcast together. So Veetbal, there was somebody that said somebody that commented live that they've attended to your English and Punjabi workshops at the Gurudwara, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why we are here. That is our maqsad, that is our mission, is to provide education information. So can you just tell us a little bit about how mental health can kind of manifest differently in menopause? And then I'm more than happy to share a personal clip here of mine at the end of that.
Yeah, that's fine. So what happens when, first of all, women's mental health is related to their ovaries. That's why we are very different reactive. We react different. So, and then we sort of respond to difference, and we are emotional. So what happened, our ovaries produce eggs. Eggs gives that signal to the brain. PTH is the pituitary thalamus hormones, which release estrogen and progesterone. I won't go too much into the science.
I love it. Give us some more.
And when the ovaries shrink, the eggs stop producing, and then the signals stop going to the brain, our estrogen, progesterone drop. And that's why the woman who was all calm, yes, all times, suddenly start to flip. She start to get reactive very quickly. She start to respond. Basically, she won't have any crap. If I want to have same
her mind, she's crazy, she's gone loco moco, she's lost the plot, she's a psycho.
Yeah, all things. And then before, she will hide her emotions. She won't cry in front of. Now she will cry. She go to her doctor, she go to the school to the children, at the work leagues, or maybe just as a transaction in a car or in a retail shop. She will cry. Maybe she will have a burst out, and then she will cry. And this is why. What happened?
Do you remember there was a lady who said she slapped a customer?
That was one of my patients. So I had a patient booked for my mental health clinic for antidepressant for stress. And when I spoke to her, and the reason she was suspended from work because she slapped her customer. She was 48 years old.
Imagine how horrible that is for that woman to feel that and experience that.
And then she
should have gone through that.
Yeah, and she should have booked for mental health clinic. And then when I spoke to her, I moved her to my menopause clinic. And then we did a full approach. And then I wrote a big letter on, asked my GP to sign for it, why she slapped the customer. Because if her work colleague, her employer knew what she going through, and then she really cried. She said, I was going through really bad, hard time, and no one listened to me. And the customer was on her case, shouting, screaming, it's her fault. We know how retail works. And she couldn't take it. And if her employer had good information, she really so frustrated to get quickly. She can't handle the she used to be calm before. Someone need to intervene, or she maybe not need to on the till for long hours. Or colleague could have intervened when she was getting heated argument by and then she wouldn't have that, and then she lost. And that's where the point it goes. And women, and then they get caught. The same colleague who was a very good worker, very sportive team member, then becomes suddenly lazy, crazy, bipolar, psycho. And They don't have sport and no one understands. And that's why the mental health is the first sign you will see during menopause. From late 30s, you're going to see that sign, memory loss, brain fog, change in your mental behavior, we say, during the cycle, but then it becomes very, very drastic symptoms.
You know, I was in my former life, I worked in the local council. I was in an executive team. I used to look after staff. I had 3 staff that I used to do, 3 of my staff team that I managed, I referred to occupational health for menopause. So I got this real intimate access to how it manifested at work, and I tried to make a lot of workplace adjustments for them. And that was before I started my nutritional training, and then when I did my diploma, my educational training, I learned more. But I wonder, and I've seen and heard so many stories about women that are not supported in the workplace, where it really compromises their performance. And the next thing you know, at that age in their life, they could be losing their progress, their career, being on performance reviews.
That's what happened. And then menopause can make you or break you. And that's why a lot of relationship breaks between the partner and children. Yes, because no one understands the woman, and it really can take a toll on the woman. And it's very, very important. Start from the home. The home need to understand and have the education on menopause. Why really nice woman suddenly getting changed. The friends and everyone need, and the same, encourage your workplaces to have a workshop. It's very simple. An hour workshop, have them understanding. They will. Then the managers say, "I wish the managers, when they give fee, wish we had this training before, because we could have really good workers. We lost really good colleagues. We have lost them."
Workplace. I love that. You're so right, because we already have a disproportion with more men in senior roles, and then women are going through this. I'll share a little bit about what happened. I saw a photo of me in 2021. It was at an EEL coffee morning where I first met a few of my now good friends, and I looked at my thighs and I was like, is that my body? I've never had big thighs or bum, and I kind of wanted them. But I remember looking at the picture and thinking, and sometimes you don't realize, I'd started a business 2 years before, whether it's business stress or hormone stress. And then I found myself noticing more impatience, in a point where I finally got to my life where I thought, oh, I've got all these good techniques now I'm really dealing with, because I had a history of depression, right? I had a history of postnatal depression and other depression. So for me, I was like, why, when I finally have calm stability in my life, do I feel like this? And my family can vouch for me. Like, I felt like I was short-tempered. And I'll share this week, maybe tomorrow it's coming out, a post I did at that time that I couldn't stop crying.
Yes. And it's very normal. You couldn't stop. And someone said you take it personal. Why you said this? Why you saying to me? And then you suddenly start crying. Or anyone said anything. And it's very, very important. And if any of you going through symptoms, your friend or family, do ask them to ask for help or share how they're feeling. And it's a tiny little help they first need. And that's why we created the masterclass 360-degree approach. That's where we will be sharing all these little, what is actually solution of this problem for us, because there need to be done something.
80 symptoms. I experience, and you'll hear it, I experience sequential UTIs. I'm not a UTI person. I always have my Barney, my water with me. But I literally was like, what is going on? And then I noticed it was happening around the same point in my menstrual cycle. Itchy, dry skin. I had mood fluctuations and then the weight gain. So it went from thighs and then into my stomach. I felt that year that I was having a complete identity breakdown.
Yeah, and then people just think only hot flushes and night sweats is this menopause. That's a tiny little, very, very light symptom. What else goes around it is so, like, you attended my workshop last week, and 4 women came with like really different symptoms. No one will even think of. And when I explain them, do you have the symptom? And that we're going to share in there. I think if we go 100 women in a room, around 80 will say, I never thought of that. And actually, is that the reason I have the symptom? So it's really, really important.
I've seen loved ones have such extreme like extreme low thinking, suicidal ideation.
Yes.
That even for my own self last year. And if I didn't have people like Veerbal, I didn't have like my support group, because I spent a lot of money on different modalities, like, and I hadn't done the years and years of like work, right? I really genuinely, on my hand on my heart, I feel like, women could lose lives to this situation. And that's why we've made fun of some of the promotion in our marketing for the masterclass, but we're not making fun of a light situation, because it's really serious for some people's mental health. So we are accessible, we are available. But yeah, even despite the fact that we made a fun promos, we know the seriousness of this situation. So please register for the free class. menopauseclinician.com/workshop.
Yeah.
Is that the website? Yeah.
And we go in our bio as well. And it's very, very important, really. And one piece won't really help you. And also you need to, and there is a woman on menopause, we give them HRT, and sometimes we have to give them antidepressant as well. And that can slowly wean off, because I'm not saying you must have HRT and that is the only solution, because I never promote medication as a first instance.
Yeah.
80% is your lifestyle and the changes you make around, and 20% is the medication. That is actually should be around any medical condition.
You're consistent with that messaging. You're consistent, and I can't wait until you do more some more education around HRT, because it keeps getting put into like medication, but actually I think we need to think about HRT slightly differently as well. And I've personally seen for women in my life, what a difference holistic, HRT, yoga, all these different things I've seen in different people, how much of a difference it can be made, like it can make on them.
Yeah, it would. And then there is a lot of confusion around the medication, like HRT. I'm going to actually do a video, bioidentical. What are the bioidentical? Are they natural HRT? So it's a very, very clear answer to it, but it's really confusing for the women. And then they opt for this, and really get confused around it. You don't need to get confused around the information. Keep it simple according to your body, and then you make a decision, informed decision yourself. Don't make it too complex for yourself as well. And I think one of the testimonial we will share this week or next week, really, really how it changed that person's life by just doing different treatments in lifestyle and with other sort of approaches as well.
And not everybody wants to share, that personal journey. No. The other thing, Martin McCutcheon, she was the famous actress from EastEnders, she shared, I developed driving anxiety. Literally, I drove everywhere. I was independent. I'd take my kids 4 hours, drive up to Yorkshire to see my sister. I'd drive in the night, my babies could sleep, drive in the day. I was such a confident driver. And then one day, just something snapped in. I'm on the M25. I could not stop. And this is a symptom we talked about in the Punjabi podcast, is that it's that heart palpitation. I could feel it into my legs, and I felt my feet could go numb, and I'm going to end up having an accident. I pulled over to the side, phoned my husband. He's in football training. I'm trying to calm myself down, I tried to get back on that road multiple times. In the end, my husband was driven to me by my brother so that he could drive my car back. I then came to learn you can phone the transport police and they can come and help you. But yeah, it's no joke. What can happen? Like night and day, the changes can be.
And it will be suddenly, and you will develop something you never have fear of. You never had that notice in your body itself, and the symptom will suddenly come. And then you wonder what actually has happened to me.
Yeah, and I felt like when you started speaking more about some of these other unknown symptoms, it made me feel so much better. I just thought, thank God, and then, obviously, the stomach weight, I was asked, my mother-in-law was asked if I was pregnant. There's so many things then. So you got a physiological change, hormonal change, and then it's the confidence, the self-esteem. You work a lot with that, right? In the skin clinic as well.
I do a lot of time, and that's why I actually from skin I had to move to the menopause more and do more studies, because it's the confidence, because any symptoms of menopause is ultimately going to affect your mental health. If you go urinary infections, hot flushes, night flushes, if it's your sleep, you're going to be tired, you're going to be frustrated, it's ultimately going to affect your mental health somehow, and your confidence to do things as well at the same time. And that's why it's very, very important to have the full picture of menopause and then make approach what's right for you.
Yeah, it's the cornerstone, it's the foundation underpinning so many conversations. I'm really glad actually we weren't planning to do like a menopause series, but I'm so glad that the women wrote you and you get the voice note and then their feedback for the podcast and that we're doing this episode. And the Punjabi one especially, like I'm so happy that we did that for our community who maybe haven't had these conversations. And just gently, how can it impact a family dynamics?
Oh, that's the big thing. A lot of divorce happen in this age group only because of that. Because partners, it's not like they don't want to. They fail to understand a certain behavior and they start to drift it away. The woman is really changing. One minute she's happy, next minute she is not happy, and she's really frustrated, angry at the kids, the husband. She don't have a physical capacity to do the same workload she was doing. She's not multitasking. So many things she forgets to do. Before she was all organized, everything, and she get labeled as a crazy and lazy, basically. And not every partner is understanding, and it's not like it's their fault because they don't know what's going on. They just think, what happened to her? Why is she suddenly doing this? And at the same time, mostly average women have teenager children. And then if they have a teenager children, their hormones all over the place, the woman's hormones all over the place. And a lot of time, mostly if we say the teenager otherwise become daddy's children and then not mommy's children, because mommy is having all her struggle. If they're both in the same, that's of hormonal, and it really affects, and the partners start to drift away, and that's when it can lead, because the first woman was everything brushing under the carpet, the behavior, now she's analyzing, and then it causing environment, and then she realized he don't say I love you to me, he don't do these things, he's not supportive, I want to take a divorce. Means sometimes it just comes suddenly quickly. So it's very, very important to really understand each other, and the family need to have that as well. And the woman, she's already struggling with physical health as well, and then due to loss of sex drive, vaginal dryness, all other symptoms, it really affects the relationship between husband and wife as well. It affects the siblings relationship due to the behavior of one or the other. They start to fight or really challenging to each other as well. It does, and friendship as well at the same time. And friends say she gone big-headed, she's not the same friend anymore because she already started.
Paranoia. I had I didn't know at the time. I didn't realize at the time some of the struggles that I'd experienced in 2021 and 2022. I was reflecting on this yesterday, that degree of paranoia around friendships, female friendships, really hit me. And oh God. And now in hindsight, if I'd known a little bit more around those kind of symptoms, it would have been a lot more useful. I studied and worked a lot on nutrition and working out and how that changes in menopause, so physiologically, skeletal muscle, etc. But gosh, in terms of the other 80 symptoms in regards to that, it's a lot. I'm really excited about doing that menopause masterclass, 11th of July. If you're watching and listening to the podcast, just know if you've missed it and you're listening to this podcast episode afterwards, there will always be an opportunity for replay. So do go down into our links in all our social media platforms. You will find the way to register to this masterclass for free.
And it's going to be really digging deeper into it, and we will have a Q&A session as well, all confidential. And it's all, the workshop is, you can't see the participants, so it's all confidential space for you. And do understand what actually you need, and maybe if you don't need for yourself, or you think your friend or family, you see the sudden change in them, or you're thinking they're really struggling, your colleague or someone, do share with them as well at the same time. It can help them as well. One thing I would like to point out when we were talking about paranoid, women, it's very, very important to be having this stage empower themselves for women. The women need to be really empowered and really have the confidence, the way they feel about themselves, because what happened, their skin, their hairs, everything starts, the weight gain, they lost the confidence, they start to compare themselves to the other. If she's not empowered enough to do things, she's not independent financially or otherwise, she starts to compare herself and she starts to feel worthless. And when she starts to feel worthless, that's really, really impacted big time on her mental health, confidence, and a lot of other issues as well.
I
and
have
she
to
started
say, you can
right.
hand on my heart. I've experienced so many of these things, and you know, my partnership with my husband. When we lost my husband's brother, it really strengthened our marriage. If we hadn't gone through that time and learned how to communicate with one another, I really like. I can see how it would have effectively damaged my marriage.
Yeah, and it does. You have to go through a phase, and the same is the menopause phase. It's not some illness.
Yeah.
You just see how you navigate through
Yeah.
it.
And yeah, we will teach you tools, tips, techniques. There will be actual things that you can take away. And like Vibha said at the beginning of this session, that it's not just about medication, it's not just about holistic, it's about, what can you do for yourself? If there's an opportunity to pay for a service, what that looks like, and also where you can try to advocate for yourself in the NHS. So it's looking at the big picture, all the puzzle. And Veer, what is your one tip that you would give to somebody listening today? Like, what could they do today to help themselves?
Okay, I will give my one tip after. First, you tell me what's the main tip you will give, because you've been through your journey for very hard. So I know what you have come through. Water?
I love saying stay hydrated. Okay. No. Oh. God, that's a tip. Oh my God, Viva.
You overcame a lot of barriers in last 2 years. So that would be a very practical, personally tried. Because I give to all, and women have tried, and I know what the feedback I get from my kids.
I will say, because of all the stuff that I've been involved in, part of me did think that I'm now bulletproof. I can handle anything. Yeah. And so I guess for me, it would be just take that step to get the learning and start getting advice. Because I genuinely thought I was like superwoman. I've done so many things. I've done circles and healing and yoga and therapy and sage, whatever. Like, I did start thinking that, I've got the journal prompts. I've got, so much advice, so many tips. But actually, it is about getting the right advice, getting specialist and the right advice.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't be
And
afraid to reach out.
yes. And I would say, first of all, the main, I would say, if you want to do now, get yourself, sit down and see what's changing in your body, analyze it, acknowledge all the symptoms, see what has changed in yourself, why you're not the same woman, and then see where you need a help. Once you know that, the help will come itself. And if I have to say the one another tip, which practically you can do yourself, breathing. Breathing exercise is the most powerful tool to breathe in, hold the breath all the way to your groin area, and then exhales. It balances your cortisol, it balances your thyroid, it regulates your nervous system, it really, really composes your body, and a warm glass of water. These two things, the practical tips. There's no medication, but it's the strongest medication you can do to yourself.
You're right. I was on the way to your Harley Street menopause clinic opening. I had a panic attack in the underground. I've used the London Underground since I was 8 and 9 years old, because I used to travel on the Underground to go to primary school. I love the Underground. I bunked school. I used to miss classes, skip school, and go on the Underground. And I never imagined I would get what happened in the car in an Underground. And that's exactly what I did, Viva. I used breathing techniques.
Yeah, and that is the best.
I breathed myself through it and I found the exit.
Yeah, it's the best tool to regulate your nervous system, your cortisol, and everything. And if you really struggle, you tap your heart. And that way, it's a scientific, you're composing your body. And then 1 glass of water a day. That's very good for your mental health, digestive system. These are the practical things. Most important, medication, but it's no medication.
And I want to do a quick shout out. I want to just be like, obviously, so much great gratitude to God for planting this seed for me and Viva. Like, we're very faithful. We practice this faith, but genuinely so much gratitude to God, and also the community of strong business women experts that we know. And just remembering that we have the expertise that we have, but we also know so many great professionals. Like, I'm so grateful for this Instagram community, the podcast community. Yeah, just wanted to say that today.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, everyone who's supporting. We had so many messages just to say congratulations, well done, thank you, questions to us. And it really means a lot to us, because all we're trying to do is creating a space of what we have learned from different and inspirational women, and everyone in this our network in this women's space, and really want to aim and mission is to empower every woman and make them to rise through menopause and keep it very simple.
Yeah, we literally were
Yeah.
sitting having another conversation, cross-checking about clients, and we were like, why are we keeping these conversations to ourselves? Let's put them in a podcast. And you'll see, like now, if you're watching this, I hope you can see, like, this is how we talk about things. And we felt like actually the world deserves to have this information. How you choose to listen and to act is entirely up to you. But it felt like it was our mission, and like God gave us a message to just start sharing. So here we are.
Yes,
Fourth
and
episode.
we are on the foot, and there's so many we have got planned. Like
Yeah.
when we go through the question answers, the questions we received is like so many episodes we have created. So it's gonna keep us busy
I mean,
for this year.
yeah, isn't it? We could do literally a topic a day. There's so many ideas bursting.
Yes, but and it's not even in our brain. It's just women are asking us,
Yes.
like they really asking us the question. And can you create an episode on this? Can you create? And I hope you enjoying it and the answers are right what you're looking. But if you still stuck with answers not covering any episode on the topic, do drop us a message as well at the same time, and we can always elaborate it later.
Yeah, we will navigate you. And so in September onwards, we will be looking at bringing in guests. Because we just hit the ground running with this idea, we started it overnight. We want to ensure we're covering the basics, getting everything. Like sometimes we come on Instagram, sometimes we've done our recordings on podcast software. And then recently we sat down in person in our Punjabi suits. So we are, experimenting with different formats, and we're not the, bells and whistles. We're two working moms, busy in our lives. Veerpal was busy today, and we're just making sure we are making our commitment to bring this to you.
Yeah, and because the problem, the goal is to bring you the answers and help and support you. Doesn't matter how we do it. We're still struggling with tech issues, but we get it there.
Every week, but we love you and we're going to show up. So remember the date, 11th of July, 8 p.m, free registration, masterclass on menopause 360, holistic approach.
Yeah.
Anything else be fun.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. And any questions, please drop us. Feel free to give us a feedback as well, and any topic you want to. And we see you on 11th of July, 8 o'clock.
Like, comment, and share.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Don't forget to share what did you think of this episode, and click subscribe, like, comment and share for updates on future new episodes.